A lot of people think this defensive interior class is fairly weak, and I don't think they're wrong saying it. I think it's probably the weakest part or weakest position group in this class. But I think there's still some very good names out there that you need to be looking out for. I'm gonna give you a top 10. Top 10. But if you want to see my full rankings, you go to ftfn.com. Follow the link in the description. It's in the pinned comment. So if you want to see the full rankings, I got like over 20 people on there, or 20 prospects on there. So go check that out. I'm only giving you a 10 here. Also, BT Dubs, Blick Sports, I'm on there. I'm at the group Never Too Early Draft, because if you're here, it's because you like the NFL draft. And we talk about the NFL draft over there. It's basically sports Discord. So it's in the link in the description, so you can check that out. What's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Baroshmo. Just in case you did not know, so go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. You'll hear about it later in the video because it's really important. And I really hope you would go do that. Let's go ahead. Let's get into this top 10, starting with my boy Zachary Carter out of Florida. I talked a little bit about him in the offseason, saying he needed to add some weight. The dude added 25 pounds. Holy moly. If you weren't familiar with him before, he was kind of a rotation in that defensive line. They used him really all over the defensive line, but I really thought if he could pack on the weight, kind of like Marlon Davidson did before the Senior Bowl, that he could really be a very dominant interior player, because he kind of lacks the athleticism to play out on the edge, but that athleticism on the interior typically translates to a fine pass rusher on the interior. And you know what? He has been that this season. The guy was a monster through his first couple of games, and Texas A&M kind of shut him down a bit, which is kind of wild, but he's still young. I could see him rising up this list. I mean, he went just bonkers on Ole Miss, but then again, who is it on that defense? Ole Miss, man, bad defense. At number 9, we got Jordan Davis out of Georgia. This guy, he's a mammoth of a man. I got a day 3 grade on 4th round. Like I said, mammoth of a guy. He just being able in the run game to take on blocks and just get to the football. But for me, he doesn't have much of a there's no pass rushing upside to speak of. You're solely getting a 2-down lineman who will stop the run, but he comes with very good scheme versatility. And hey, like I said, the man's good at what he does, and typically day 3 is when you want to kind of start searching out your run defenders, if that's what you're looking for. At number 8, I got Darius Stills out of West Virginia. My biggest gripe with him is probably his size, because he kind of plays that nose tackle, that zero tech role at West Virginia, and he is currently 6'1", 282. But this guy plays with some of the best leverage you will see from any of these prospects. He's a top-notch run defender. He is steadily just improved year after year after year. But I mean, this guy, virtually he has no pass rush moves. Like I said, how he gets to the quarterback is out leveraging the guy in front of him. And he's got, I mean, being at his size, he does have a small strike zone, which is really good. But again, a guy that seems more to be used in that early, like during his like first few seasons, more in a situational role while he develops. But another prospect I still like, Jay Tufele out of USC. Tremendous athleticism for this guy's size. He's 6'3", 305 pounds, quick, very explosive. But the guy only has maybe 1 or 2 pass rush moves that he actually chooses to deploy. There's not much to that pass rushing toolbox, which is kind of big. I think if you're picking on the first 2 days a defensive interior lineman, that he needs to have at least some sort of pass rushing upside to him. And I think that's really the weak part. You could also say Maybe he could get a little stronger. I think he's fine in my opinion. I was really surprised that he decided to opt out of this season and just declare for the draft, because I still think he has much to prove. I really thought maybe if he decided to come out in the 2022 draft, he could be a first rounder, because like I said, you really like the athleticism for that, his size. But right now I'm sitting on a 4th round grade for him. Then Jalen Twyman out of Pittsburgh. The guy plays with a very high motor. He's very twitchy, but again, another guy that's a bit undersized, not much, but just a little bit by standards. And he has no explosiveness like to his game. There is no first step for him. He posted 10.5 sacks last season, and that was largely in part because he really finishes plays. He plays to the whistle. It did help that he had tremendous pass rushers on the outside of him, and Rashad Weaver and Patrick Jones, but he didn't generate much pressure just by himself. Again, he does have some of the best pass rushing tools, like his toolbox, very full. But again, the explosiveness, I mean, I love what you see from a technique perspective, but I mean, nothing to really, without that explosive first step, then like, I don't know, it doesn't make you a first rounder. I've seen him in the first round. I think he's a day 2 guy at best. But before we get into the top 5, go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave that thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and like I said, it really helps out the channel a ton. I hope you do that. Check out the Flick Sports app download. Take a look at the Never Too Early draft group there, and let's go ahead, let's get on to this top 5. Levi Onwuzurike out of Washington. I'm really hoping that he does play. I haven't looked to see if he decided to opt out, but I'm thinking he's going to be playing some Pac-12 football this season. The guy's a great athleticism, very good agility, good release. But the guy played most of his snaps at nose tackle. He won't be doing that in the NFL. It'll probably be like a 3-tech. In the size, he kind of worried a little bit, but not much. I think he's fine size-wise. Strength, maybe. I don't know if his strength will translate to the NFL. But, I mean, that's something we'll see. This guy, he's been playing around the center. So to see him actually, kick out a little bit should be, for the most part, different. I don't know. I don't think Washington will deploy him any differently. So that might be just something we have to find out for ourselves. The physical tools, honestly, this guy has physical tools that could get him to the first round. It's just the production's not necessarily there yet. You see the goodness. You see what makes you salivate on tape. But you got to see results at the same time, and that's something he's kind of struggled with. But like I said, the tools are there for him. F4, Tyler Shelvin out of LSU. The guy's a hoss. The dude is a hoss of hosses, man. 6'3", 346 pounds. He's your prototypical run-stopping nose tackle. He just eats blocks. He plays with very, very low leverage. Surprisingly, a very good athlete for his size, and that's why I have him here as maybe a late second rounder, is because he only generated like 6 pressures in 2019. He decided to opt out, which I was like, oh, that kind of sucks, because I really want to see him develop more of pass rush. So the thing is, LSU wasn't asking him really to pass rush in 2019. His whole thing was, hey, you're a space eater, dude. You engage in blocks, and then you disengage when you decide, hey, okay, the run lane's this way, or okay, I need to get to the quarterback. So honestly, I mean, I think it's coachable with his type of athleticism for his size. We'll see. It might just be a 2-down lineman, but again, still disappointed he decided to opt out. And my new number 3, Lee McNeil out of North Carolina State, NC State, baby. This guy, I'm getting higher and higher on. I mean, just take a look at this interception. This is a big boy's dream. This guy, he's played for his career along a very, very good NC State line for the most part, and now it was his time to come pick up the torch, and he's done a marvelous job. He has 18 pressures and 7 sacks on 252 pass rushing snaps. He is just, I mean, and this was in 2019. He's just been more dominant this year. The the guy's just, like I said, the dude's very, very good. He's been very good in the run game. That's probably like, I mean, for most defensive interior players, the run game should be your bread and butter. But he's got very good athleticism and explosiveness for his size. And the dude is freaky strong, like really strong. And just a guy that I've been watching this year and been like, wow, he's going to be a day 2 guy. And now and he might end up being like the 3rd interior lineman taken off the board. Like, he is really good. And then at 2, Marvin Wilson out of Florida State. Kind of been a mixed bag this year for him. Honestly, that whole Florida State defense, if you're not named Asante Samuel, it's been a kind of a wonky 2020 season for you. But, I mean, with this season aside, based on his prior production, I think he's still a first rounder. The guy's got long arms, quick hands. He's stupid strong. And, I mean, unlike like we saw with Derek Brown, who didn't like his pass, like he didn't really turn on his pass rush until the second half of the season. But this guy, he did it consistently for 2 seasons prior, and he's been okay at it this season. So, if Derek Brown going in the top 10, I think you can make a case for Wilson still being a top 20, 25 pick, even with the down year. And then Christian Barmore is my number 1 defensive interior. The guy he's more gifted as an athlete than Marvin Wilson. And also in terms of production, like he's been on the small sample size we saw in 2019, he was utterly dominant. He had a pressure rate of 20%. He had a win rate of 24%. And I mean, and that was playing 123 fewer snaps than Marvin Wilson. Wow. And that was all in 2019. He's been very good this season. He kind of had a cold opening, but he's registered 11 pressures, 2 sacks through 3 games. I think he could be a top 10 pick, top 15 pick at the very least. I really like Christian Barmore. You like the physical and you like the athletic upside of Barmore. But that's it for the video. That's all I got for you. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing. You know what that means. Thumbs up and hit that red button that says subscribe. I do appreciate it oh so much. Go ahead, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. And keep in mind, this is a top 10. If you want to see my expanded rankings, go to ftfn.com. But until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.